Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sideshow Live. Yay! You guys, we have such an awesome show for you today. Thank you for bearing with us because we are a little tardy this morning, but it's all good. We're all good. So we have so much to show you. We have Buffy and Bree in the chats. We have a full house with our crew, so it's going to be an awesome show. We have the Joker 6-scale figure that we will be featuring. We have the Iron Giant Fine Art Lithograph here in studio. That is an Alex Ross piece that we will be showing you up close and personal. We have the Joker and Harley premium format figures from Suicide Squad. And we have a feature on the Solo book. This is like an up close and personal look at Han Solo. And there may or may not be a surprise that comes along with it. We'll see. So let's just get to the show. First up is our featured collector. Our featured collector is Vin Vo. Vin Vo, let's take a look at your, wow. What a great, awesome Marvel collection you have there. Some Hulks, a couple of Iron Mans. I see Deadpool sneaking in the background. And is that a cap next to Deadpool, or is it just a blue Deadpool? Anyway, that is an awesome collection, Vin. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. If you would like to be our next featured collector, head on over to side.show/blog and click the Apply Now button. We love all types of collections, so be sure to send those along. So that is super awesome. I just wanted to take a moment, and we have like new stuff on the set, and I always like to play with it. So like these mugs, am I right? We have like 2 brand new mugs. One of them has a dinosaur, and one of them's pretty and blue. This one I think also comes in like various colors as well, so you don't just have to get the pretty blue, but dinosaur, yeah? Dinosaur mug. I'm all about this guy right here. So if you head on over to side.show/mugs, you can actually get these guys. Blue dinosaur. Dinosaurs. I'm like really all about this. This dinosaur is wearing sunglasses, just saying. Anyway, don't forget, you guys, Black Friday starts next week. For us, it actually starts on Monday, the 19th, and runs until the 26th. So sign up for our newsletter to get more information about that. There'll also be special deals happening across social media. So in case you don't already follow us on the various social channels, you are going to want to go to Instagram, that's Sideshow Collectibles, Twitter, that's @CollectSideshow, and Facebook, that is also Sideshow Collectibles. So that's Black Friday for you. And again, mugs, new mugs. Anyway, I'm really excited about those mugs, sorry. We have a video break, and when we come back, we will have the Joker 6-scale figure. You guys are watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sideshow Live. We have the Joker here. This Joker looks so cool. I'm really super excited to show you guys this guy. This Joker first appeared at San Diego Comic-Con and then made a secondary appearance at New York Comic-Con this year. And now we get to show you him on the show. So this is a Joker 6-scale figure inspired by his look in various comic book appearances. Like most of the ones that we do, it's kind of our inspiration of the Joker, like what our artists think of as the Joker, the idealized version of the character. So like any good 6-scale figure, he comes with a variety of accessories. We could not bring them all here at the moment. We just have the figure, but I'm just gonna kind of go through the highlights of some of them. There is a toy pistol with a bang flag and also a click, click, click flag. So swap out flags, guys. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. He comes with a crowbar, a knife, a cane, a Joker card, of course, and he has this sculpted lapel right here that you can see the flower. So on his fabric costume, you can see it's a full fabric suit, including the vest, his Joker long bow tie, the shirt, the pants, the jacket, of course. The shoes and the hands and the head are obviously sculpted, but we did, have to have his fully fabric suit tailored to him. He comes with, I'm told in my notes, 10 swap out hands. So that includes a left pointing hand, a right buzzer hand. You can see the buzzer hand actually is on him right now. Can you see that? We'll see. No, you can't. It's fine. He has a pair of fists, a pair of grip hands, a right gun grip hand, a left cane grip hand, and a pair of card holding hands because he is, in fact, the Joker. The exclusive for him will be a swap out laughing portrait. So he will come with, if you get the exclusive, 2 portraits. Now, we don't know when he'll be available for pre-order, but we do have an RSVP link set up. So head on over to side.show/jokerfigure. That's side.show/jokerfigure. And you will be the first to be notified when there's any new information about his pre-order date. So that is pretty awesome. Our RSVP system is rad. You can choose how you want to be notified. So whether that's text or email, doesn't matter. Just head on over to side.show/jokerfigure and yeah, you can be the first to know about this rad Joker figure. I wish I could show you more. This is the prototype, so I can't pose him as well as I'll be able to do with his regular real figure. But nope, I just made it worse. Can you see that? There, that's a little bit. You can kind of see his buzzer hand. You need a buzzer hand on the Joker. He has to be able to do jokes, yeah? Anyway. So now that I've reposed the figure several times, we have another short video break, and when we come back, no Atomo, I Superman, the Iron Giant fine art lithograph will be here. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back.
The Iron Giant, it made a huge impact on me and many other artists when it came out because it was so well thought out as a cartoon, and it was such a strongly affecting movie. Has one of the most, it's like the best superhero movie that you wouldn't identify as being such, because it's a character who's essentially, he was created for a darker purpose. He was here to invade mankind and forgets who he is. Then this little boy that he befriends basically shows him a bunch of the comic books that he loves, and instead of gravitating towards images of the giant robot monster that he is, he looks at the Superman comic and he's like, oh, that's cool. I like him. I want to be like him. At one point in the movie, he puts a giant S on his chest to say, look at me. And then at the end of the movie, when he basically saves a nuke hitting this one area, he basically catches up with it in space, and in his moment of collision with that, he says this moment in the movie that's very inspirational and affecting, where he says Superman, and he's like closing his eyes, he's going fist out towards this bomb, and it's sort of, it's the moment I wanted to capture and bring to life. If you look closely at the artwork, you can see how the clouds on the earth below him actually create the shape of an S just below his chest to sort of give you that connection. But anybody who knows and loves the film like I do will remember that moment.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sideshow Live. I feel like this print is going to make a lot of people cry just from looking at it, because it's such like a touching, beautiful moment from all of our childhoods, especially if you're around my age. So this is the No Otomo Eyes Superman Iron Giant Fine Art Lithograph by Alex Ross. Now this is a hand-signed piece. I just want to emphasize the hand-signed. Alex Ross signed all these pieces. The edition size is 100, so there are only 100 of these that exist, signed by Alex Ross himself. You just watched a video where he kind of explained the moment that he chose and why he chose this and how beautiful it is. It's the end of Iron Giant. Iron Giant is sacrificing himself to save an entire community and mostly the world, because it wasn't just going to affect that community. He is indeed Superman, and I loved watching, like, oh my God, I love that movie so much. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there also, like, I'm watching Challenger just like off camera, like just be really super excited that this exists. So Alex Ross chose this amazing moment to recreate in this print. And again, this is a 100 edition size fine art lithograph, hand signed by Alex Ross himself. You can RSVP for him right now at side.show/irongiantprint. The framed version will go up on Friday. That's November 16th, between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific time. If supplies last, and I'm not sure that they will with such a low edition size, but if supplies last, the unframed version will go up for pre-order on Monday the 19th. So, wow. I'm just really excited that this print exists. So you guys order that, pre-order it a Friday, set your RSVPs to alert you, and you're definitely gonna want to get your hands on this hand-signed Alex Ross Iron Giant print. We have another short video break for you guys, and when we come back, the Joker and Harley Quinn premium format figures will be here. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. So while we were doing like a shout out to our new Joker and featuring him, we figured like we should probably give shout outs to the Joker and his puddin', Harley, or he's her puddin'. Sorry, I said that backwards at first. Because like I've never heard the Joker say puddin'. That'd be really, really weird. Anyway, so these are the Joker and Harley Quinn premium format figures, and these are from the Suicide Squad movie. They both have mixed media elements, which means they're made from several different materials, but like it's crazy cool. Who do you want me to talk about first? Joker? Joker, fair. So this fabric had to be custom made because of the nature of the coat that Jared Leto Leto. Thank you. They had to custom make this fabric again in quarter scale to be able to put it onto this premium format figure. It's crazy awesome faux leather crocodile print that is also purple. So, you know, a super common fabric that most people could just find at Joann's. No, that's not the case. This would have to be custom done. So not only is this fabric custom, but he also has other fabric elements, including his Batman leggings that he's wearing, but the rest of him is sculpted. He's a pretty cool piece. Oh, and the gold fabric boxers are also fabric as well. His exclusive edition is the swap out hand that is holding a knife. And you can head on over, he is shipping right now, and you can head on over to side.show/LetoJoker, side.show/LetoJoker, and grab him in your collection. And of course, if you're gonna get him, you also need this amazing Margot Robbie Harley Quinn premium format figure. Now again, she's also mixed media. Her shorts and her Daddy's Little Monster shirt are sculpted onto her, but this jacket is completely fabric, as well as it has a working zipper, and so are her fishnets are also fabric, which means they can snag, so be careful when you're unboxing her. That it's so crazy cool. Now, again, her exclusive edition is a swap out hand that actually has the classic Harley hammer that has the smiley face on it. So that would swap out for the bat that you're seeing here. This is the collector's edition. And her exclusive is only 750 pieces, so that's a low exclusive size. Her, she also, I love this necklace, like right here, the puddin necklace. If we can get a close up on that, because that is super cool and was also custom done for this figure as well. Like how do you, some of the challenges that come with these premium format figures is how do you make something life size and like that exists on a person and then make it quarter scale as well. And they managed to do that beautifully, especially getting it screen accurate and everything for the Joker and the Harley Quinn premium format figures right here. So Harley, you can also buy right now and get into your collection immediately at side.show/Robbie Harley. That's side.show/Robbie Harley. These pieces are just must-haves for any DC collector, because you kind of need them if you're into the movies and you just really want to have all the versions of Harley or all the versions of Joker. They are two of the most iconic and memorable ones out there. So there you go. We have one more. We have another video break. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. And then we have the Han Solo Icons book coming right at you. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. I'm just practicing my book pose. Book pose. This is the Star Wars Icons Han Solo book. This is such an incredible book. All of us keep passing it around and geeking out about it because obviously Han Solo was like one of our first heroes, like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo. They're like the Trinity in so many ways for us. So this Star Wars Icons Han Solo book is kind of like the story behind the story of Han Solo. So it takes George Lucas's first kind of idea of Han and then takes him all the way through, takes the reader all the way through Harrison Ford and what he brought to the character, and then all the way through Solo, a Star Wars story. So it has, I'm just gonna kind of do this. It has all these insane, just like they fold out pictures of that. Some of them you've seen before. And then some of them are brand new, like concept art, different types of smugglers and scoundrels, comic book appearances and like little sketches. It has interviews in here with Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Alden. I can't pronounce his last name to save my life. He's so nice though. Billy D. Williams, Peter Mayhew, Ron Howard, J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, and so many more. So it's available for pre-order right now at side.show/Star Wars Icon. I'll hold up the book again. Side.show/Star Wars Icons. done by our friends at Inside Editions. They are amazing, and thank you for letting us feature this book on the show. So, since we're talking about Solo, I wonder if there's someone here in studio that we could talk to about who maybe knows a little bit about Star Wars.
Oh, I'll talk to you.
Hi! Hi, Sam.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? You guys, Sam Witwer's in the house. Yay! Woo!
You know what I liked? I was flipping through the book, and I love that there's these pictures of Harrison Ford, and it really illustrates how low budget the whole Star Wars thing was when it started. Because there's like these pictures. Let's see if we can find one of these.
It's like him.
Say him in a junkyard.
Just
They're like, this looks vaguely here. I love this.
Here.
This looks vaguely space, right? We're gonna get some pictures of our Han Solo character. So just bring Harrison to a junkyard. And I love that some of the photos, like this one, looks like it must have been done around the production, because there are other photos of Han Solo floating around where I don't know if it was his costume fitting or if it was done after the fact, but he has a completely different haircut than he has in the film. And so there's really
I have never noticed that.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
There are some photos of Han Solo out there in full getup, but the haircut is completely different. So this wasn't shot around production. It was either before or after.
Huh.
So it's just so funny because it was a slip shot operation, and Lucas and Lucasfilm were a tiny little company, and
now we have a whole galaxy.
Yes,
that's crazy.
Exactly.
So in case you guys don't know who Sam Witwer is, Sam is a longtime buddy of ours here at Sideshow, and he's a little bit involved in the Star Wars universe from Star Killer back in the Force Unleashed video game to Emperor Palpatine to Darth Maul, and now you've been Darth Maul not only in the Clone Wars but in Solo.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
So hopefully you guys have all seen Solo: A Star Wars Story. If not, it came out like 9 months ago. So
spoiler alert.
So spoilers, Darth Maul's in it.
Yeah, he is.
And did you get to voice him in Solo?
I did. Matt Wood, who voices General Grievous in everything, he's the sound guy. He's the guy that makes things sound like things in these movies, and so he he's the successor to Ben Burtt, the guy that legendarily took like a microphone and went up on top of a hill to high tension wires and hit it with a wrench, and it made the blaster sound.
Oh my god!
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Matt Wood is the successor
evolution,
to that evolution. And he's also voiced all the battle droids, and he's General Grievous, and he's all this stuff because he's also a voice actor. Anyway, Matt Wood voicing his own Star Wars villain, General Grievous, I think took great pleasure in taunting me about this whole Solo thing, because he called me up one day. All these Star Wars calls always happen with some awareness from the person calling me that they're going to have some fun with me. So he just gets a hold of me, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, it's going good, man. How's it going?" "Yeah." "So, Maul's in Solo. Do you want to do it?" Wait, what? And I mean, it was just that casual. I'm like, what a jerk.
So do you want to do this?
Yeah. Oh, he's in Solo.
Do you have any free time?
I don't know he's in Solo. No one told me. I have no idea. What the hell is he doing in Solo? And so, yeah.
I have to say, because we do the company screenings of all the Star Wars movies, so I enjoyed, because I was very fortunate and got to go to the Solo premiere and saw you there. We were like, hey. So I knew about it, but I loved watching the whole company go.
What did they do? What was
they were like, what? And there were just some people who literally like jumped in their seats.
That was
it was
the fun
so
of it.
Crazy.
In the audience at the premiere, what was fun was that some people started reacting before you saw the face. That made me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you hear the character speak, and then you see there's a shot with Kira
with her.
You see the leg. And starts speaking a little bit, and I could hear gasps throughout the audience. And then when the face was revealed, everyone just cheered, and that would get and why that felt good is because Lucasfilm was taking a pretty bold stance on continuity there, because for people who haven't seen Clone Wars, they're not even aware the guy's alive.
Right.
And, so Lucasfilm sort of decided, and I appreciate this. It's like it's what I call the Thanos rule. I don't know who Thanos is, but Marvel doesn't seem to care that I don't know who Thanos is, and I don't care that they don't care that. You know what I mean? Like they're like, so you should play by your own rules. If this is your continuity and these are your characters, let me catch up with you. And so that Lucasfilm was just kind of like, well, George says he's alive. George
so
did this
alive.
animated series, so guess what?
He's alive.
You know,
I may or may not have slapped my friend who I was sitting with.
What you mean, like?
No, I seriously was
Like that?
when I saw the leg and I heard your voice, I like.
You didn't like wind up and just.
No, I didn't like punch her.
Yeah.
I just started slapping her
see.
on the arm, sitting
Right.
next to me, and she was like, "What? What?" And then
That's still assault, by the way.
it was, and in a public place, so
Yeah,
there
you
were
can't-
lots of
You
witnesses.
can't just
but
strike people.
I feel like Maul would be okay with it though.
Oh, he's all about
Definitely
assault.
okay with it.
Yeah, he's a jerk right there.
So what was something you really enjoyed about the new touches to the Star Wars universe in Solo? Because we've watched Harrison Ford play
Right.
Han Solo for
Yeah.
so long, and now we're watching a whole new actor take on
Right.
the role.
Oh, in terms of the touches to the universe, I liked seeing Corellia, which we've always heard about but never really saw.
I know, I love that too.
Yeah, it looked a little bit cooler than it did in Star Wars Galaxies. For those of you who know what that is,
I remember that game.
we always hung out at Corellia, but yeah, I loved the fact that Corellia was featured. I really enjoyed seeing a YT-1300, the model of ship that the Falcon is, looking the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
That was cool, and it was very clear that the front is that this is a
The
customizable
escape pod.
ship.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can there's a modular thing you can put in there, and I think it speaks to Lando's character that his modular enhancement was it's a really cool escape pod. You're like,
Yep.
you're a coward,
Yep.
man. What's
Yep.
up?
Oh, yeah.
This is not the guy who's ready to take on the Death Star later on. in his life,
Definitely
you know?
not.
But all of that was really fun, and seeing younger versions of the characters and getting a sense for, because the movie was very palette-wise, it was very, very dark.
Yeah.
And what was fun about that was, for me, such a dark backdrop, and then the characters were so fun and bright, which was interesting.
That's a really good way to put it.
The characters, I mean, the actors all looked like they were about to break up a take by laughing in every take. I mean,
Yeah.
they looked like they were having a great time against this backdrop of just complete, darkness and dirt and
Yeah.
grime everywhere. So that was an interesting thing for it to feel so fun. But if you look at the movie, I don't want to say it's a grim-looking movie, but it looks
you're
really
right.
grim, and then there's so much humor to it.
But if
which
you think about
brightens
it,
up.
like this is, the rule of the Empire. Like it's the
Yeah.
beginning of
It's
the rebellion. So
trashing
it
the
is
galaxy.
the darkest point, or
Yeah.
one of them.
Well,
in
it's one of the things
galaxy.
like I think I can legitimately call him my friend now, Doug Chang, who I visit. I just saw him at Lucasfilm a couple weeks back. Who I go and visit, and he's the designer. He's the guy that has been working on Star Wars designs since I think just before Phantom Menace, and he's the guy who really led that whole, along with George's guidance, the whole rocket ship look of the whole Flash Gordon rocket ship look of the prequel
Yeah.
worlds, which slowly slides into the classic trilogy look later on as the galaxy gets trashed. And Doug Chang also designed Solo, so it continues that lineage from Phantom Menace, where everything looks very slick and cleaner and the smoother, rounder lines. And then you start heading to Solo, and everything starts looking very box-like, and you like 80s cars.
I mean, when you take the Falcon itself, the Falcon
Yeah.
literally goes from this curvature to like sharp boxes at the edge once
Yeah.
once they have to, the escape pod has to be released.
Absolutely, and I also appreciated by putting the front modular section of the Falcon, you could see the design lineage between other, the other ships that were being constructed. Like you see a Star Destroyer, being assembled, and you're like, this does look like it was made on the same planet.
Yeah,
So
that makes complete sense.
yeah. But I do love the fact that these ships are supposed to have plates over some of that machinery. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to look a lot cleaner.
No.
And one of the ILM guys said to me, he said, the idea is that ever since this event with the ship getting trashed, Han Solo and Chewbacca have been working. They've been using all the money they have to try to fix up the ship since then. So they went backwards, and they were like, I guess if you look at the Millennium Falcon in say Episode 4, you can still see some of the battle damage that they specifically put in the movie Solo. You can
my
still see
gosh.
some of there were little pockmarks here. They justified it with a laser blast in the movie. And their idea is, they've just been trying to earn money to fix up their car ever since.
Oh my god.
And of course, Han Solo and Chewbacca prioritized things like the hyperdrive and the engines
Right.
over how it looks. because now it's a sleeper. Now
Right.
it looks like a piece of junk, but it actually flies like a hot rod.
That's
you know?
amazing.
So-
Oh my God, I love that. It gives like the Millennium Falcon always had such its own character to it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now that just puts it on a whole other level.
Yeah, well, it's interesting being involved behind the camera with these Star Wars things because there's an interesting thought that people think there are ideal solutions to any given problem when it comes to storytelling. And the answer is when you're doing it, there never is. You're making your best guess. I mean, I remember talking to an ILM guy talking about Maul's mechanical leg, and he literally asked me, and this was after it was all in the theaters, he said, do you think that the leg was featured too prominently? And I remember just being like, when I was watching it, it just felt right. And
Yeah.
it was great. He's like, did I put it too far out there in the frame? And I'm like, wow. I mean, just to show the level of thought
Yeah.
and detail that goes into every one of these frames. And it's a nice reminder that there's never, ever, when you're doing it, it's never clear whether you're doing the right thing. You have a notion that you're going in a certain direction, but you're guessing.
Yeah.
And it isn't until after the movies are all cut together and there's music and special effects and it's all in place that these smart audience members are like, well, they should have done this. You're
Yeah.
like, dude, make something. And it's
Yeah.
interesting the creative adventure that you go on
Yeah.
to try to, and surely through Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, it was always ever that. We never ever thought, and as I say to hopefully people who liked it, maybe I don't know if you liked what we did in Clone Wars and Rebels, but a lot of fans did.
Yeah.
And-
I loved Rebels and Clone Wars so much. I can't wait for Clone Wars to come back.
And in doing,
Yeah.
and believe me,
I know.
you can't wait.
Okay.
Trust me. But in doing that, you're only ever making your best guess. And what I believe talent are the people who make more right guesses than wrong guesses when you're in the middle of this chaotic production schedule.
That's
And,
amazing.
I mean, Clone Wars and Rebels, we thought we knew what we were doing, but we also weren't sure we knew what we were doing. And you just roll the dice.
I mean, you're kind of like the crew of the Ghost.
Sort of.
In a lot of ways.
Well, that's sort of it. I mean, don't think for a moment that Dave Filoni creating the crew of the Ghost and they're all always chaotic and sometimes making terrible mistakes, that isn't reflective of how he started feeling making Star Wars for the fans, because they're a very discerning group of fans.
That's true.
So yeah, that leaks into the storytelling.
But I think that one of the greatest things about Star Wars in general is that if you're a fan of Star Wars, you can pick and choose. Like if you don't like this particular thing, you can just say, all right, well, I only like the original trilogy, or I love Clone Wars and I really want to like focus on the mythology behind that and that expansion of the galaxy.
Well, and then for people our age, the big surprise has been the huge popularity of the prequels.
Right.
That now, they were kids then and now they're like 25 and they're schooling us on what Star Wars is to them. I mean, it's...
But now there's a new generation.
And then,
there's
and the sequels.
Yeah.
And then, it's
crazy.
It's become a little bit more like what you were saying, the a la carte thing of like your Star Wars is customized to you.
Yeah.
It's become more like Star Trek in that way.
A little bit.
That people have their favorites. Some people love Voyager. Some people are Deep Space Nine people.
Exactly.
Some people love the original series or...
TNG.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you're going to continue to make stuff like that, that is what it will become, because the people that are making it have to make it from a point of it being personal to them.
Right.
And that isn't necessarily going to work with the older fans who have their own personal interface with it. But then some things will, and some things they'll really love, and it's just a really interesting time for it because. It used to be just 3 movies.
Yeah.
For us.
For us, it was
these
3 movies.
And that was like, you could sort of create in your mind whatever the world was around that. The Clone Wars were whatever you wanted them to be.
Right.
And then suddenly these things start getting expanded. And, I'll speak from the Clone Wars series. I mean, it's one of the things, I love this quote because Jet was so right. He said, Jet Lucas, George's kid said to me at one point, he's like, you want to know why Clone Wars is so great? And I'm like, yeah, Jet, tell me why is Clone Wars great? And he said, the reason Clone Wars is great is because it's Star Wars made by a guy who is sick to death of Star Wars, which is my dad. And you're just like, yeah, that is why it's great, because he kept pushing the limits of what Star Wars could be and just stretching out the world and being like, well, maybe it's this weird thing over here. Or maybe there's these, strange priestesses who float around who teach Yoda new things that he didn't know about the Force. Or maybe it's this weird thing on Mortis where there's these Force gods. Or here's like weird stuff that we would never have imagined back in the early 80s when we were developing our idea of Star Wars. But then you have this extraordinary imagination applied to stretching out the possibilities of what that world is. So, that's the fun of making all this stuff, is going, what could we do that pushes the bounds of Star Wars but doesn't necessarily break it? You want to push out the boundaries, but you don't want to go so far as to, alienate.
Right, absolutely.
So
I completely agree with that. Well, we have a short video break, and when we come back, we have a Q&A segment with Sam from the audience. So if you guys have questions for Sam about the Star Wars universe and his place in it, you want to ask him right now in the chats. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. We are here with Sam Witwer, who is still fascinated by the...
I want to point something out. That thing we were just talking about pushing out the bounds of Star Wars. You can see sort of a trepidatious conversation between Irvin Kershner and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford trying to work out a scene. And they are doing exactly what we talked about doing. They are pushing out the bounds of Star Wars, because at that point, Star Wars was one very popular movie. One movie that utterly destroyed all expectations of what movies were supposed to be. And here they are going back and making something totally different.
Yeah.
Tonally different, thematically different, while still maintaining connection with the original movie. So again, it's as long as we keep doing this, as long as we keep pushing things out and trying to do new things, it's good.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. So you have a lot of fans in the audience. They're all here for you, and they're all asking so many questions. First up, they're asking about Starkiller.
Oh, Starkiller.
And would you ever like to see Starkiller in a live-action Star Wars film?
Simply because that would allow me to do something that I have wanted to do since Starkiller, which is shave my head again.
Oh,
because I can't
that
tell
is
you,
not a way.
This is the only reason I'd want to do Starkiller again, is because there would be a legitimate work-related reason to shave my head. And I will tell you, you wake up, you take a shower, and you just go. There is nothing more. You're like, all right, I'm done, and then you're finished, and you never have a bad hair day.
That's true.
That
is not what I expected the answer to be, but
no.
Wow.
The serious answer is I do love that character, and I would love to play some version of him again, surely. I know that Dave Filoni was thinking about him being an Inquisitor, and we were this close.
So cool.
Because what I would do if I were to do that is just do it in a different context and present the Force in a different context and do something new with it. Don't necessarily do the overpowered video game version. Do something, do something different, but have the heart of the character be there. I don't know, be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that too. So which character besides Maul and Starkiller, I guess, would you like to see in a new Star Wars movie?
I think that there's more room for Maul, either in a film or TV series somewhere or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
You know, I think there could be a lot more fun to be had with that character, and yeah, I've learned to never say never with that
Oh,
guy
yeah.
because I've publicly said goodbye to him twice. When Clone Wars was done,
Yeah.
I'm like, it was great. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm glad that we got away with it with the fans. But we're done now, and okay, goodbye, Darth Maul, and then Rebels. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
You're like, I guess
But now
this is happening
But now
again.
we've killed him. Spoiler alert. Sorry. He's done.
Man.
I'm finished. I'm done with the character, and then they call me up for. What
Solo,
was funny is
yeah.
the day after we killed him on Rebels, I was recording him for Battlefront. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm still kind of doing him, and then Solo after that. So
Wow.
so at this point, I'm like, I
Just don't
it's
say bye
anyone's
to him
guess.
anymore.
I never say never with that character because there's what's so fascinating to me about that character is that across several different platforms, we have now started to tell like a long-term story about one villain. Like we start with Phantom Menace, and you have that's one movie. But then you have a TV series that has many episodes devoted to this guy's life with the Clone Wars. Then you have Solo, which describes him at a different point. And then you have Rebels, which describes him at yet another point. And he's aging through this and going through his own thing. It's very rare that an actor has an opportunity to sort of describe a character's life over a long period of time. And I didn't describe him during Phantom Menace, but now that they've linked me and Ray up,
Yeah.
which is great because me and Ray are friends. It's about
Yeah.
time we start working together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So someone is also asking, what are the chances we'll see a continuation of the Maul and Kira relationship?
There is, I'm going to announce it now. There is a sitcom coming. where they find themselves living in a studio apartment,
Oh, wow.
but it's not romantic between them.
Oh.
And so it's very awkward.
Huh.
And so and there's a little bit of a Jack Tripper thing to Maul.
I see.
And
Yeah.
she's kind of like Janet and Chrissy all
all
rolled up
in one.
I think it's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, they're both very humorous characters.
They're very funny characters, and I think that Lucasfilm sees the comedic potential of really going for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Announced here now that you guys all know.
Yeah.
It's all
First
announced.
announcement.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you enjoy working on more, the Force Unleashed games or the animated Clone Wars and Rebels shows?
Well, they were two different challenges. With Force Unleashed, it was creating a Star Wars character from scratch and then hoping the fans don't want to kill me afterwards, right?
Right.
So that's fun. But then after that, the equally terrifying challenge of taking a character that was already sort of legendary with the fans, and was legendary and hadn't said much, had like 2 lines in the movie,
Right.
so you're like, oh my god. I mean, when Filoni calls me up, hey, I need Darth Maul, can you do it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem. Gotcha, man, we got it. And then hang up the phone and go, what the hell did I just agree to? Why? So, because when something's working, in a weird way, you kind of go, well, let's leave it alone. And Maul, I dare say, worked pretty damn well in Phantom Menace. And then for us to feel like, oh, now we're going to give him a full personality and we're going to learn all about him. And he's going to talk a lot. He's going to never shut up. This guy who never said anything is now going to really have a lot to say. And we're going to progress the character and really make as vivid a character as we can. And I don't think that we could have even attempted that if George wasn't the guy leading the charge on that. Because I don't know that we would have had. There's something about that man's imagination that sets you on a path that has a thematic resonance with everything else that he has done.
Wow.
Even going to like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, our pop culture has locked into his imagination in a very real way. So if you're going to go off into the woods and try to describe, a path through these woods, you need to have the guide. You need to have, our own Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, well, that direction. Well, that's crazy, George. Yeah, we're going for crazy. Go. No, but seriously, I mean, that's what it was. That's what working on Clone Wars was like. I mean, he's like,
yeah, he's spider legs, and he's kind of in hell, and you have to go down into hell to get him to pull him out, and then you have to, and he's mad, and you're just like, all right. And, but Lucas looking at it from a point of view of like, if we don't do something insane, something crazy, if the character isn't so damaged from what happened to him, then none of this is worth doing. You know, if he just shows up in Clone Wars and he's like, you know, and Obi-Wan's walking around, and then you see him like, hey guys, I'm back. It's just stupid. It's dumb. Whereas if you do a weird, interesting, cool, thematic, you know,
it was
all this
Shakespearean.
mythology.
Like it was. I remember watching that episode, and honestly, it was spoiled for me that he came back, and I was like,
what are you doing? Why are they doing this?
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be the most ridiculous thing ever. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
Like, fully, like, not going to lie, I fully expected a failure.
Yeah.
And then for it to be Shakespearean and, like ancient Roman, Greek, mythical,
which
like,
is what
type,
we were going
like,
for,
yeah, it was like descending into Hades.
Yeah.
And
plucking this tortured soul out.
And that's exactly what it was. And I just remember being like, thinking, I'm wrong.
Well, and what was so fun about it was going be like, okay, George and Dave talk all the time about how awful the dark side is.
Yeah.
How, you know, it seems seductive and you get all this power and you get to have the people you love around you, so long as they do as you say.
Yeah.
And you can, you know, it's all this greed of the dark side, the give me of the dark side of the Force. And how when you live in a world where no one is opposing you and no one is telling you no, and you're just reaching for everything and grabbing it for yourself, that you start losing, gravity no longer affects you, and you start kind of free floating, and you start losing the ability to relate to other human beings on a human level. You start living in a world that is not the real world.
Right.
When no one says no to you, you're not living in the real world.
Right.
And people are now become props rather than actual people that you have to, you know, consider their feelings, and you have to do all those things. So there's a real madness to the dark side. And so doing those episodes, our intention, and we talked about it for months beforehand, before we even performed it, that we were like, okay, now let's show them the madness of the dark side with him in that cave with the spider legs. And George's idea was that those weren't mechanical spider legs. That was just pieces of junk that started sticking to him because he was that greed, that give me of the dark side. What happens when someone who's so self-obsessed, and he's so self-obsessed that he won't even let himself die, gets thrown into a junk world? Well, he starts gathering things, and things start sticking to him. And the dark side of the Force, to protect him, those things grow out into these spider legs that he gets along on. And there are shots in the show where if you look closely at the legs, parts of them aren't attached. They're floating there. And
my God.
And they're vibrating. And so the idea is, well, this is an opportunity to give a glimpse of what Darth Vader must be going through underneath the mask, because Vader is so controlled. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, but underneath, he's in hell.
When you were describing that, I was just thinking of the scene in A New Hope where he's just choking people. Like, he has no even concept that he's killing someone.
Yeah.
And then at the end of Rogue One, when he's just throwing people aside like they don't mean anything.
So what we were doing with Maul was saying, this is kind of what all the dark side characters are going through. This is what Darth Vader goes through underneath the mask. This is what Palpatine goes through in his private moments.
And why
this is not fun for them, but they're so self-obsessed that they think, well, okay, I might not be happy now, but if I get more stuff, if I can take more, then I'll be happy, right? I can get there. It's, you know what? I just need 1,000 more star systems over here. Give me those. Let me send more stormtroopers over there, and then we will have peace, and then we will be.
That makes me sad for them.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I'm like rebellion.
Well, that was the thing, you know, and I gotta say,
like that I'm feeling things for the dark side right now.
One of the things that Dave and I are happiest about with Darth Maul, and by the way, I just saw him last night, and he's doing some pretty incredible things, I would say. Busy man. But one of the things that we're happiest about, and that I'm happiest about, is that people actually feel bad for Darth Maul. Because he is a maniac. He's a really bad guy. But I keep hearing from fans how bad they feel for him. And I was like, all right, cool.
No, I feel that way. I felt that way too. But for me, the one that I always like attached to and always felt guilty.
Savage.
Well, I liked
Yeah.
him too, but Asajj Ventress, I always
yeah.
really felt bad for her.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
again, another just tragic story. Like if I can, then it'll be better.
Yeah, well, that's the fun about these Star Wars villains is that they
Mm-hmm.
all reflect upon each other, right?
Yeah.
You know, one thing you learn about this character over here informs upon this character over here, and I
Yeah.
feel like Asajj Ventress and Maul are two sides of the same coin because
Yep. Mm-hmm.
they grew up in the same neighborhood, didn't they? So
Man,
yeah,
wow, cool. This just got really heavy.
right. The madness of the dark side.
Wow, you just sucked us into the dark side.
Yeah.
So Kyle would like to know, since you're friends with Ray Park, how much fun is it to watch your voice happen while Ray Park moves?
Not the least amount of fun.
I know,
I will
right?
say it was really cool because Ray has he's seen all the animated stuff, but then when we were starting, like I think I sent him a cryptid message. I encrypted. I sent him a cryptic message where I said, "Okay, that thing you're trying to keep secret, I know all about it, and I am on board." And he was like, "Oh man!" And he started
that's
talking.
awesome.
This is before when I found out that we were doing the whole solo thing, and so me and him started talking, and Ray's a giant sweetheart, and he said, you know, in your opinion, what episodes should I touch up on to watch to try to get that flavor of the character? Because the plan was they would record me, and then he would go and lip sync, but then he would deviate if him and Ron felt like it needed to deviate, and then I would come in again and record
and match
again.
it. Okay.
And that was their way of making sure that both me and Ray had our input on the character. So when I talked to Ray and we talked about the character, I definitely told him what episodes to watch, but I surely didn't tell him what to do with it because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, he's created that character. He's the reason we love this character. So there was no way that I was going to tell Ray what I thought he should do with the character. I was like, just watch these episodes and there you go. And let me tell you, when I saw what he did, what was so gratifying, and then seeing the final product, it was gratifying to see that it was in fact the character that I felt I had been playing for years. But I felt like, yeah, that's him. That's the guy from the Clone Wars and Rebels. That's the
that's
same
so
guy
good.
right there. So that felt good, and that was the whole intention. They really wanted to make sure this can't feel like a different version of the character. This has got to feel like the same journey. It's got to feel like the same guy.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
it was fun.
Joe Lombardo would like to know, will we ever see any more on Mortis? I mean, he can't tell you guys that.
I've learned with all this stuff to never say never.
Yeah.
And the Mortis stuff definitely plays into the end of Rebels.
Yes, it's
So who knows? Who knows?
And this is actually, I love this. This actually is more about your larger acting career than just Star Wars. So you're a voice actor, and on Supergirl, you play a character wearing a mask.
That's right.
How does that help? Like, does one help the other?
It is starting to, because the character of Agent Liberty, aka Ben Lockwood on Supergirl, if people don't know, I'm playing Ben Lockwood, aka Agent Liberty on Supergirl, and what was useful there was that we shot episode 403, which is a backstory for the character. We did an episode where you kind of break away from the show of Supergirl, and it's all about Ben Lockwood, and he's in every scene, and you watch his journey through the previous seasons of Supergirl and the big show-stopping events. We see how they affected him, just as some guy with a family, you know. And so it was great that we shot that first before we started putting on the mask and doing stuff.
Oh, wow.
Because if I had done the mask first, I think I might have gone too far with the voice acting. I might have done a little bit of a thing to make that more intimidating. And once we shot 403, it was clear. I'm like, no, this isn't Darth Maul. This is a guy who has a family who is trying to become something, trying to become a symbol for people. And so as the show goes on, as the seasons go on, whoever are fans of Clone Wars and Supergirl are going to notice I start putting a little bit more into the voice as he is used to wearing the mask.
Okay.
But at first he just seemed to be like,
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sam Witwer. Hi, I'm Sam Witwer in a mask. You know,
Yeah.
like, and then, but then later he starts sort of inhabiting that a little bit. So
Okay.
the voice starts shifting as the season goes on.
That makes sense.
So yeah, there was some relation there.
Chris Marsh wants to just say that you're one of his favorite actors.
Oh,
So,
thank you,
yeah.
dude. Thank you very much.
So, yes. And Kevin Durrell would like to know, has a fan ever given you a really cool item that you remember?
Yes. I have Starkiller's lightsaber. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
I
really
remember
cool.
that one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. One fan made a painting of me and my band playing. That was pretty cool. Very happy about
That's
that.
amazing.
I've been given some pretty nice things, but generally, I would encourage fans to save their money. Just showing up and shaking my hand and saying a nice thing is certainly gift enough. So please don't take this as encouragement to ever at a con bring me things. No, just come and talk to me and we'll geek out about Star
Yeah.
Wars and stuff.
Oh my
It'll be
gosh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Do you miss Battlestar Galactica?
fun.
I have to ask that.
Yeah.
Dave Bassoon asked that one, but also I loved Battlestar Galactica so much. So I'm
It was the show that made me difficult to work with.
really
Yeah, because they had this weird thing on the show where I arrived and they said, "Okay, here's the rule." This is a producer, David Icke, telling me this. He said, "Get one as written, and then say whatever you want." So there was a lot of improv on the set of
Really?
Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, a lot of. You wouldn't think so with all the green screen and special effects. You'd think you need to keep a tight rein on what the actors are doing because there's all these technical concerns that you have to coordinate
And
with
you
the
were in
actors.
like very high
Yeah.
emotional stakes scenes.
Right, and so were the other actors.
Yeah,
And-
well, yeah, I mean,
and everyone was people were ad-libbing quite a bit, and I think that's why that show feels so spontaneous and unpredictable because you might not know what the actors are going to say next because they don't know what they're going to say next. They're just kind of things are coming out of their mouth, and so since that was a formative experience, it was like one of my first jobs. I'm like the guy who ad libs a little bit too much on set, so it made me the difficult actor that I am today. I remember on a certain show that shall not be named, a bunch of producers. Apparently, they were really happy with what I was doing. So a bunch of producers, it was some party, and one producer came up and they said, "Hey, listen, you're doing great. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing." And then another producer came up and said, "Hey, you're doing great. If you could stick a little closer to the lines, that would be great." So like no one could, Anyway, yeah.
wow. We only have time for a couple more questions, guys, but there are so many. Is there any hope that we will see Maul on the newly announced Rogue One prequel series?
God, I really wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I know some things and don't know a whole bunch of things. So, considering the fact that sometimes they tell you these things last second.
Like, hey, you want to be Maul?
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing is, Lucasfilm has my number at this point, literally and figuratively. Like, they know pretty well that if they come at me with the Star Wars thing, I'm probably going to say yes. Mm-hmm. So they don't bother to give me any notice anymore. They're just kind of like, "Hey, we need you to come do this. Hey, we're doing the blah, blah, and doing a movie. Come on, you're in it." I'm like, well, "Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't want to be in it. Maybe
do.
okay, I'll go
You
do
do.
it.
You do. You want to be in it. You totally want to be in it.
But the thing that I'm shocked about with Lucasfilm is that I've been working with them for 11 years now. That's what blows my mind.
That's amazing.
It's weird.
It's super cool, though.
I would have thought I would have thought they would have gotten sick of me by now, and maybe they still will, but we'll see.
We'll see. I don't see it happening anytime soon. And then our last question, which is a pretty good one. Sam, do you prefer playing a bad guy or a good guy?
Oh, man. I really liked the character in Being Human, Aiden. I liked him. I liked that he was kind of both. He was kind of a bad guy, really trying to be a good guy. And I really enjoyed that challenge. But I think, I don't know, maybe just the way my face is, this big shelf of bone on my forehead gives me this dark look or something. Maybe I'm just destined to play a bunch of villains. I'm not sure, but the times that I've gotten to play just a normal guy or the hero more or less. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that because I mean, when talking about Star Wars, my favorite character is Luke. I love Han Solo, but my favorite character is Luke. That's the guy that I relate to the most. So, you know, I don't know.
You just threw everyone for a loop because we're like, wait, Darth Maul relates to Luke?
Luke.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's
Luke.
amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Luke's the guy.
He's the guy.
You
I
follow,
love that
he's
guy.
the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, you follow him.
Or when it comes to Clone Wars, the character I relate to a lot is Ahsoka. You know.
I relate a lot to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I totally get her.
Yeah, I like these innocent characters that make some mistakes and then figure it out. I really like that.
Yeah, Hera in
Hera, the leader.
Yeah, I love Hera. She's so good.
Yeah,
so
saw
good.
her last night too.
Oh, really?
Vanessa, yeah.
Vanessa was just on the show like a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was the whole. Yeah, we had the whole cast of Rebels and Dave and Claudia were there, so it was really fun.
What a great fun time.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it was
I'm
really good to
so
see
jealous
everyone.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Sam, so much for being on the show. It was such a blast.
Thanks
It's
for having
always a
me.
blast. You guys, if you want to follow Sam on social media, and you should, especially if you like Star Wars, and then all kinds of stuff that you
Weird
do,
stuff.
weird
Strange
stuff.
stuff.
But Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh, right.
role-playing games.
Can I
yes,
totally-
absolutely. Do
Okay.
it.
Go on Amazon right now. There is a book called Art and Arcana. Me and my brother and Kyle Newman and John Peterson wrote this book. It's a visual history of Dungeons and Dragons, and it takes you from the early 70s all the way to modern day with tons of ephemera and weird artifacts that people didn't know still exist, and art and concept art and all kinds of neat stuff. It's a very, very pretty book, I think.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that just came out, and
So go to Amazon now.
Art and Arcana.
Art and Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you'd like to follow Sam, he is at Sam Witwer on Twitter and at SWhitwer1 on Instagram. That is so amazing. And I heard you guys are asking about my jacket, so I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to BioWorld Heroes and Villains, because that's where I got this. I got it at New York Comic Con, and I think they're still available online. So you guys can just Google search that. So get the book, get the jacket, and you have like kind of a Sideshow Live little mini gift guide, because the holidays are coming up.
That's
so
right.
there you go. Again, Sideshow's Black Friday starts on Monday and runs through the 26th. If you spend $100 or more on an in-stock purchase, you will get a Court of the Dead 2018 holiday pin. That's amazing, but we'll talk more about that next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Sam, for joining us. You're
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye, guys.